Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Been looking forward to this.
Yes.
Tell me, who is Loraine Barry?
Loraine Barry is from Ireland, from Dublin. Started ballroom dancing when I was 6 years of age. And then I left Ireland when I was 17 to come and dance in England with an English partner called Andrew Sinkinson. And that's when my dancing life really took off in its full strength.
And still dancing now.
And still dancing, just came from the studio actually.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I didn't know that, but it's great that you're still actively doing something you clearly had a passion for from such a young age.
I did. Actually, I realized that passion early on. I would say at the age 10, 11, perhaps up to 12, I knew this was my life.
Do you know where that inspiration came from? Did you see someone? What gave you that inspiration?
My mother was an Irish dancer and my father was a rock and roll dancer. So I believe it was in the genes. And then one Saturday morning, my mother was going shopping and my sister and I were with her to carry the shopping. And we saw this sign saying ballroom dancing starting here today. So she just said, would you like to go? And I went, and then I went the following Saturday, and then I looked forward to it every Saturday after that. In fact, I couldn't wait for it.
Was there like a natural entertainer in you? You know, were you the girl singing with the hairbrush, or was it the dancing? Because singing, dancing, the whole thing can go in one. Was it really the dancing that you were
There's a lot of
about?
musicality in dancing as well, but no, I wasn't really an entertainer at home in the sense of singing or dancing. But as soon as I started to dance, I would say I became a competitor very early on.
And an expression of who you wanted to be, or was it very much sort of more about the following the choreography, if you like, of the dance that you were doing to the competition?
I would say more of the expression of who I wanted to be. Quite competitive, wanted to learn a skill, wanted to show it. Obviously, I must have adored the adulation that came with it, and wanted to win. I wanted to be the best. I learned that early on. I wanted to be the best, so I could win. Yes, super competitive.
And when did you get a feeling that you could make a career out of it? Because it's one thing having a passion for something, but a lot of people, unfortunately, either don't pursue it enough or don't have the talent, if you like, to make it into a point where they can be professional with it. When did you get that feeling, or what was the validation you got where you were like, oh, I could go far with this?
Well, I was winning trophies, and I would see golf or tennis, and I thought, well, that's where they start off. They get a trophy or they get a medal, and then after that, then the checks come. So I knew there was money to be earned in it. But actually, as it turned out, there is not big money in ballroom dancing in prize money. We don't have super events. I'm a 4 times world champion, a 7 times open British champion, and the highest amount of money that you will win for the Open British title, which is the same as Wimbledon, same as the Open Golf, is £800, first prize.
Gosh, and yet how many people love dancing? I mean, Strictly Come Dancing is mainstream, watched by millions.
Absolutely.
So where's the disconnect? My point being, people play tennis and they go to Wimbledon, and the winners of Wimbledon win millions.
I don't think I can answer the question because I don't know. I don't know the answer to it.
We just had Barry Hearn sitting in here.
Right.
We need to get him involved in dancing.
Exactly.
In all seriousness, is it like...
Well, we have Angela Rippon involved in ballroom dancing. So we do have media coverage, and I would say now that we have the Strictly here in England, UK, in Ireland, where I'm the head judge in Ireland, it's called Dancing with the Stars, because no one is allowed to use Strictly Come Dancing, only UK, BBC. So they franchise it out to every other country. But it's getting the attraction. There's a difficulty between ballroom dancing being a sport or ballroom dancing being an art. So if we were recognized as a sport, I think then we would have more opportunity to get sponsorship.
Where do you sit with that? Because you've been a dancer all your life.
I think it's both.
Yeah. You've got to be physically fit to do it, right? You need to train. There's a discipline. There's a physical element to it, right?
Yeah. So it's not obviously attractive enough to have that sports element to get that sponsorship in. So unfortunately,
it's got my brain spinning. But that's so to make a living out of dancing. I mean, how have you done that? So you've got the competitive side and the passion. are now getting the results. You're winning, but you're not making money. How are you surviving?
So the story will be that when I came to the UK in 1980 to dance with a very fabulous dancer called Andrew Sinkinson, who recently passed away at the age of 60.
That was this year, right?
Yeah, this year. We teamed up together. We actually fell in love with each other, believe it or not, doing the original Come Dancing. So that was with the Terry Wogan and the Angela Rippon.
I'm 47.
There you go.
I remember
right,
it. Yeah.
Right. So you remember it. It was on very late at night. But Andrew and I fell in love with each other, and then he said, "Will you be my dance partner?" So I came over, and we were amateur. So in those days, in the 80s, an amateur was not allowed to earn money. So we couldn't earn money as such. We couldn't hold down a job because we were competing all over the world. So going to Germany and Poland and Czechoslovakia and East Germany at the time, Checkpoint Charlie, going through that, we would win a fur coat or a record player or a piece of jewelry. So then get back to the UK and then scout round who's going to buy it, where can we sell it, in order to get some money so that we could go have lessons, have practice, and develop our dancing. So was it tough? Yeah. So, it was really tough.
So how did you survive? I mean, are you subsidising what your passion and what you're doing, where you're winning, with a job?
No, can't hold down a job because you're travelling too much, because you need to go away and compete. So basically when you go away and compete and you win all these prizes, you sell them. And that's what you survive on, is that money. And obviously parents. So the parents, my father was a taxi driver, my mother was a seamstress. 4 children in the family, not a lot of spare cash around, but Andrew's parents were very generous. So we lived with them in Southport in Merseyside for the first 2 years. And then I said to Andrew, it's all happening in London. We have to get to London. So we made our way down to London and went to Tooting Bec and rented an apartment and just kept dancing and going away and selling the prizes that we won to get the money to pay the rent, to get more money then to have lessons. And then I took up decorating dresses in order to get extra money.
So you did ultimately subsidise to be able to pursue your passion.
Definitely.
Wow. So that must have put a lot of people off. You know, a lot of people that would have the passion for dancing but cannot make a living out of it.
I think the passion was too big to put you off. There's such love for music, for dancing, for expression that just fulfills you. So you'll go without a meal, or you'll sleep on a friend's floor. That's what we used to do in the beginning. We would save the money, get the train down to London, and then just ask another dancer who was living in London in a better position than us, can we sleep on your floor?
So there was a support network there, probably. Yeah. You talk about that passion, it's just rippling off you.
Oh yeah.
And you fell in love with Andrew. There's it's making me think of the Strictly curse, right? And the fact that when you put 2 people together that are moving to music, and whether it's romantic, ballroom, or whatever it is, and you're combining and you're training together, you can so see why that's a recipe for disaster if they're in relationships elsewhere, right?
Yes.
I mean,
we have many relationships that have actually lasted the course. We have, but of course, with Strictly being in the press all the time, and it's a celebrity sometimes, and that, so there's more news coverage. In our world of ballroom dancing, it's tough. It's 24/7. You're traveling together, competing together, living together. It doesn't always go smoothly, the dancing, so it can be difficult. And you can grow apart. Andrew and I grew apart. We were 17 when we got together and got to the age of 24, 25, and we had grown apart. So we weren't in love. We loved to dance, but we weren't in love with each other. So spending that amount of time with each other became difficult.
I understand that. And so in context of having a relationship, if you like, whilst being a professional dancer, I'm almost asking this from an empathetic point of view, and also from kind of almost your lived experience point of view. That is there a way of mentally blocking out and treating it professionally when you're going to have a dance partner, where you really could, even if you don't want to, you could start getting very physically attracted to that person?
Oh yes, because you're so close to them. You're in someone's arms all the time.
And you're working so hard as well. You're concentrating. So you're in that moment together, right?
Yeah, and you're living that dream together. You're living, the motion that you're doing, creating this motion. The bodies are rolling around each other. It's quite intimate. You'll take a tango position. It's much more compact. It's more cozy together. So there is a lot of attraction there.
Sure.
And so hence why, yeah.
Yeah. So it may surprise you. I did ballroom dancing as a youngster. Yeah, my mum signed me up. I was horrified.
Oh, who did
my
you
sister
go to?
did ballet. Oh gosh.
Here's a question.
Oh, so I got brought up in a place called Little Chalfont, Buckinghamshire.
Oh yes, yeah. Michael and Vicky Barr.
She was a
lived
big
there.
deal. She was. It was like everyone went to this woman, and I've forgotten her
right.
name. I'm 47,
Gosh,
as I
yeah,
say.
yeah.
But obviously, I didn't progress. I didn't take it on. But I remember, and I sort of, I remember thinking, oh, that's old-fashioned. My school had a ball and so on, but it was moving to disco. It was moving to just, basically what everyone seems to be doing now at schools. So I'm interested in the sort of the publicity that Come Dancing and Strictly gives, and we all watch it. But are youngsters coming through? Is there a sort of new generation?
Hundreds.
Brilliant.
Hundreds of them. So the biggest market we have at the moment, no surprise to say this, is China. So there's not even hundreds there. There's not even thousands, millions. They're all dancing. So it's part of their education in China now that they learn how to dance. So it's the arts. So they go very much into the artistic side. They do a lot of formation dancing. They don't all have partners. So they've brought up this new, event called solos. So they can actually dance on their own. So girls who don't have boys' partner, they can actually dance on their own, and boys who don't have a girl partner, although I can't understand why they wouldn't, because there's always more girls than boys. But it's an opportunity to just dance on your own, and it's an opportunity to win, because they have changed everything in dancing now. Everyone wins. So there is a world title for a solo now, a solo boy, a solo girl, different age groups. And I think it's an incentive just to get people to dance.
And with that many youngsters coming through, that surely should drive sponsorship and prize money, you'd think, right?
You would
because
think.
we live in a content creating world now.
Yes.
So these youngsters will be probably filming themselves or being filmed, showcasing with it, because that's what we all do now. We've all got our own personal brand and so on. So that's the future coming through. Surely that should elevate the...
It should, but unfortunately our dancing world is run by dancers. We need business people. We just know the foxtrot, we know the waltz, we know the cha-cha-cha, but we don't know business. That's what I believe to be the biggest problem. We need business people who have a business mind, who sees this product and then has that business mind to put it forward, which is obviously what the BBC did.
There's an element of you that's got the business brain, the business mind. So are there cogs spinning there about how you could help? Because you understand the industry. You are...
Yeah.
It's given you your sort of life, if you like.
I'd be there as an advisor, but my passion will always overrule the business side of it, because I love to teach and I love to pass on the information and I love to inspire and encourage the younger dancers and the older dancers. I'm very lucky with who I teach and how I teach. I'm a very positive teacher, very inspirational. A lot of people will come to me not just to learn how to dance, but how to work it out.
That's interesting. So when you mentioned China as well, there's a mindset thing here, isn't there? So just the principle of dancing, you're physically exerting yourself. We know that's good for you.
Yeah.
But there must be an element of being fully present.
Absolutely.
And in a world, I looked for my phone then, in a world where we just keep getting distracted and we can watch something or someone else. Is that a key part of what you think is really attractive about dancing?
I think there's a lot to learn in dancing. There's sharing, there's coordination, there's dancing with somebody, there's listening to a teacher, there's going out, there's competing, there's winning and there's losing. So there's a lot to learn. You can grow up very well in ballroom dancing. You learn a lot about the body, about etiquette. And it's not just China, there's Ukraine, even though they're still dancing in Ukraine. So I still teach online for Ukraine.
It's inspiring to hear that.
And the alarm siren will go off and they'll say, okay, Lorraine, we've got to go. So we shut down the camera and then they all go downstairs in the basement and then maybe they'll come back up and then we'll regroup.
How much do they look forward to that lesson?
Oh, they love it.
Thinking how they're living there, but that would be the absolute highlight for them.
And they do want me to go and I'm afraid to go. So I have the fear of going, but I'll do anything I can to help the Ukrainian couples, which I do. I do online lessons, and in the studio where I'm teaching at the moment, there are some Ukrainian couples who left Ukraine through the forest because they're young. The boys are young, and if they didn't, then they're in the army. And so I try to help them as much as possible. And Polish couples, Japanese couples, Americans. What's interesting now, in America, there are a lot of Ukrainian couples over there. So there's a whole new bunch of dancers coming out of America.
This is fascinating.
No, it's a huge world. Nobody knows. In the UK, people only know Strictly. Strictly Come Dancing. That's all they know.
I'm a bit guilty of this. Yeah,
Right.
it's just like a headline, isn't it? But
Oh,
there's a whole...
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
And in Easter time, if you go to a town called Blackpool, now who wants to go to Blackpool? Everyone's going to say. You go to Blackpool just for the ballroom. So you have the Tower Ballroom, which is where Strictly Come Dancing is filmed.
It's like the mecca of dance, isn't it?
It is, but there's another ballroom there called the Empress Ballroom. And that's where the main events happen. So the Open British Dance Championships happen. So at Easter time, you will have an influx from every country going to Blackpool for the Junior Dance Festival. And that's all under the age of 16.
And that's global. So there's people coming in from all over the world.
Packed out. Blackpool doesn't know what hits it.
Is there prize money for that?
No. No prize
There's a
money.
massive disconnect here. It's bothering me.
Yeah, no prize money, no. Because the British Open title, as they say, that's the prize, to win that, but not the money.
Yeah,
but of course you need the money.
But these people are flying in.
Yes.
These people are, there's equipment to train,
Exactly.
there's
Accommodation.
clothing, there's accommodation,
That's
there's
right.
surviving
Yeah,
to
that's
come and
right.
do.
Yeah. It's very tough. It's a really tough life. Very tough. And some people don't make it. There's only one place, there's only one winner. So
Your competitiveness is great. That resilience you've got, and I know you touched on Andrew, who died earlier this year. How much do you think dance has given you strength and resilience that you can draw upon now with your maturity and sort of perspective, if you like?
A lot.
Yeah.
A good, if you ask for a figure out of 100%, it's 95.
And is it escapism as well for you as well? So you can go to a place where you're fully present. So I wasn't trying to make you emotional.
No. But actually, life has its ups and downs. And in dancing world, Andrew and I were, as we said, we were young lovers together. We became very successful, 2 times world champion together, 3 times open British amateur champion, UK, European, international, you name them, we won them. We were the couple in Japan. Everybody wanted us for their shows. But unfortunately, as I say, we grew apart, we broke up, and then I went and got another dance partner, an Italian. So when you break up from something very successful, you have to find that strength to keep going on and starting again. And in the dancing world, I would say it's a man's world. So you have to fight for your position, which is exactly what I chose to do. So I really worked hard with my new partner to get back up into a very high position, and I did.
Yeah, that man's world intrigues me because I would still think there's more girls coming through that want to be dancers, and yet it seems like it's dominated by men.
Yes, it is.
So I think we talked before camera about the passion I've got for sort of female entrepreneurship and the importance of role models. So you are a role model in that, from the TV side of things, let alone the accolades, the awards. And I don't want to ask the same question I've asked earlier about what can you do to change it, but what needs to change? Why is there a disconnect, and how can it be more level, if you like, from an equality point of view, giving that voice?
It's conversation. We need to be more open. We need to be less fearful. If you see something wrong, which I did, for an example, there was a big event happens in Bournemouth every year.
At the Bournemouth International Centre?
Yeah, BIC. It's the UK Dance Championships. And this particular year, the panel of adjudicators, there are 11, and they were 11 male. And I thought...
That's unashamed though, right? You'd think someone would, even one of the men would be like, we need to sort this out.
Exactly, that's what I would have thought. But they didn't.
When was this?
It was about 4 years ago. So I rang the organizer and I said, please tell me I'm wrong. I've heard this is going to be 11 male. no females. Oh yeah, we don't know how that happened. Well, you do know how it happened because you're the organizer, you do the invites. So I said, really, I believe you should change this because it's not acceptable. And they said, no, we're not changing it. So the day before the event, one of the Japanese judges did not come because his wife passed away. So I knew he was not coming to the competition. So I went to the organizer, to actually the chairman of adjudicators, because the organizer was busy. And I said, tomorrow's event is going to miss one judge. Please, could you put a lady judge on? Not me, any other lady that's here.
Why not you?
Well, because obviously I was the one who asked for it. Maybe they thought I was trying to line my own pockets or whatever they may have thought about me.
You were fully qualified to be that
fully
person,
qualified.
right?
But so were another number of ladies here. And again, it's about sharing. And I have no problem sharing with other ladies because we're all there. And I said, you know, because I've asked, you don't have to have me. You could pick any other lady. And they said no.
Wow. That was 4 years ago.
Yep.
We're now April 2025.
Well, let me tell you what I did.
That's wound
first.
you up as well.
Oh yeah, that definitely wound me up. So I got my makeup artist in from Ireland and my hairstylist, and I said, get me ready. So I got myself ready. I put on a white dress, and during the competition, they invite the 11 judges to walk out onto the floor right by the stage, and they name them all, and then they stand there and obviously get an ovation from the crowd. And when they did that, I got up off my seat and I walked out into the middle of the floor and I clapped them all, and then I walked back and sat down.
Do you think people knew what you were doing
Oh
then?
yeah, they knew. I even asked some other ladies to join me, but they wouldn't.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And what was the fallout from that?
Nothing for me. I was actually judging the next year.
So that was my next point. That was 4 years ago. So
Yeah.
April 2025, when's the next one of these?
We just had it in January, and I've been judging it every year.
And other women as well?
Yes.
So potentially your actions there
Yes, it stopped
influenced
it.
that?
Exactly. Exactly.
Play.
And that's what it's about. So it's about having, you know, taking action or saying something. But there's a lot of fear in dancing. And people are afraid to say things because if you say things, then maybe you won't be invited to adjudicate a competition. If you're not adjudicating a competition, then perhaps the couples then won't take lessons with you. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Couples want lessons with me, not because I'm judging, but because I teach them how to dance. And that's what it should be about.
So why do people come to you? I mean, I could probably answer that for you with the 25 minutes I spent with you, but why do people come to you?
I'm a great teacher. I'm very inspirational. I'm teaching green flags all the time, not red. It's not, oh, don't do that. Don't keep your shoulder down. No, you can't do that. Okay, let's dance the shoulders. Not about keeping them down. Let's dance the shoulders. Let's be free in the body. Let's listen to that music. Why don't you become the music? You are the dance. It's not about trying to do something. It's about becoming it.
I love that. So this is reminding me of going back to a young version of me that was very shy.
Yeah.
And I think, if it had been something I'd then found a passion for, then who knows? But I don't think I allowed myself to be free with what I was doing in those classes because I was too shy.
Yeah.
And there are other people there and all that kind of stuff. What advice would you give to someone that might be watching or listening to you, knowing the life that you've had, feeling the passion you've got for dancing and going, I'd love to do that, but I am too constrained with my own thoughts and fear of being judged and so on?
Yes, you have to learn your skill. So I'm very confident because I've learned my skill. I know how to dance. We do have a technique book. I've studied the technique book. I've passed my examination with the Imperial Society, one of the highest levels. And then it's easy to say this, but don't be afraid. It's easy to say it because even if it's a mistake, it's still a lesson. You're still learning by making, it's growth. It is growth. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I've won world championships, but I've also lost one.
And the world didn't end?
No, it didn't end. I mean, I did cry. There's no doubt about it. I was brokenhearted, but I knew I was going to lose it. I knew. They told me not to go. This panel of adjudicators, it's not favorable for you. And I said, well, if I don't go, I've no chance to win it. So I went and I lost it.
Always give yourself the opportunity.
Always. You have to be there.
And I guess back yourself That's what I'm really picking up from you. You back yourself, your confidence, and again, what's the worst that can happen? That's really good advice.
Oh yeah, you have to turn up.
What have you not done that you'd still love to achieve? And I guess all the accolades, and I've got a feeling it might be a bit more of a political thing, which you're doing, right? But is there something you've not achieved yet that you'd really like to?
I'd like just to achieve for the whole dancing world, not me. My day of competing is over.
So it's a bigger picture now.
Yeah, I want to make it better I'd love sponsorship. I'd love big prize money. I'd like transparency for the selection of adjudicators. I'd like adjudicators to be selected on merit, that they've done this event, they've competed in it, at the Open British Championships that's going to be held in Blackpool in May, there is history there. Actually, this year it's 99 years, this championship. So in 2026, they're celebrating 100 years in Blackpool, which is phenomenal. But I like the selection of adjudicators to be more transparent. So for example, I would love for every dancer who has won it or been in that final to be there on the night, which we all normally are. All dressed up, kitted out.
They'd want to be as well, right?
Yeah,
that's their environment.
That's
where they've had amazing memories, and that's legacy.
Yeah. But I'd then like a lovely big trophy to come out and all their names be inside of it. And then it's a competitor or 5 competitors get selected and they come out and then they pick names out. So then it's on the night that judge that has that merit would be selected, because that would stop a lot of politics.
Are you working towards that?
Always. I'm always writing letters to them. They're like, oh, here she is again. What's the idea this time?
Well, you've made quite a lot happen already. And I think that's the bit that's super endearing about you, actually, when you set your mind to it. What advice would you give to, I'm going to ask this in a way where it could be a young wannabe dancer or someone pivoting? Because I think there's a lot of people that are probably at a crossroads in life right now that are adults and thinking, I missed that opportunity, I never knew about this, and they're feeding off your passion and sort of it's a world they could come into. You've won so much, you've achieved so much, and you are ultimately a teacher. So what advice would you give to someone that wants to get into that?
Don't give up. Don't give up so easily. Learn the skill. If you fall down, get back up again. And just keep trying, keep knocking at the door. If you have to punch the door open, just keep going at it. Don't give up so easily. Because for me, the reward at the end of it, to be a champion, but also to be held in esteem by so many competitors who now want to work with me, is just so rewarding. It's wonderful. I wake up most days, the body has a few aches and pains now, but I wake up most days looking forward to teaching, looking forward
Still got the passion for what you do, which I can totally tell.
I absolutely love it. But I think in life, people just give up too easily, too quickly. And then they say, I should have kept going, and I really enjoyed what I was doing, and I kept going, and I didn't get the reward, so I gave up. And I think that if you love something so much, then it's worth it in the end. So just keep going. You've proven that. Yeah. I've got so many more questions that open up there, but I'm just conscious of time. I think you're incredibly inspirational to talk with. Thank you. I think what you've achieved, what you've won, and what you've done in your world, let alone then what you're bringing to other people's world, is full credit. And I'm very lucky because, as I said, they want to work with me. So I work with the top 6 couples in the professional ballroom field and the top 6 in the amateur. So I want them to just be the best, better than me, so better than me. You get to work with the best. I do. That's brilliant. Because you are the best. Yeah, but it's so rewarding. I'm so grateful. I can tell. Well, thank you for making time in clearly a busy schedule to talk with me and share that, because I think that's incredibly powerful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you very much. Thanks.